I still remember my school's annual sports meet. It was the highlight of the year, a day when the entire school buzzed with excitement and anticipation. Every student, from the youngest to the oldest, seemed to have something to prove, whether it was to their friends, their teachers, or themselves. The sun was blazing, the crowd was loud, and the air was thick with the scent of grass and the sound of sneakers pounding the track. Parents waved from the stands, teachers clapped, and the energy was infectious. I was lined up for the 100-meter race, right next to Rohan, the fastest boy in our year. He was the one everyone whispered about, the one whose name was always at the top of the results board. Everyone expected him to win. It felt like the whole field was watching just the two of us, waiting to see if anyone could challenge him. I was so focused on his reputation and his fancy new shoes that I'd already lost in my mind before the race began. My heart pounded, not just from nerves but from the pressure I put on myself to somehow outdo him. The whistle blew. I ran hard, pushing my legs as fast as they would go, but my eyes kept darting to Rohan, always just ahead. Every time I looked at him, it felt like the gap between us grew wider. The more I chased him, the more my energy faded. My focus slipped from my own stride, my own rhythm, and all I could think about was catching up to him. I finished fourth, not even close to a medal. The disappointment stung, and I felt like I'd let myself down after all those early morning practices. I'd spent weeks training, waking up before sunrise, running laps while the world was still quiet. But in the race I forgot about my own progress and only thought about beating Rohan. My coach later asked, "Did you run faster than last week?" His question caught me off guard because I hadn't even thought to check. I realized I didn't know. I hadn't measured myself, only compared myself to someone else. I was so caught up in the competition that I lost sight of my own improvement. That day, I learned the real loss wasn't my place in the race, but losing sight of my own journey. I understood that the only race that truly matters is the one you run against yourself. The true failure was ignoring my own growth in the frantic chase to match someone else. Progress is personal, and comparison can blind us to how far we've come. That lesson stuck with me far longer than any medal could. It's a reminder I carry with me, even now, that the most meaningful victories are the ones where I surpass my own limits. After that race, my coach pulled me aside and said something I'll never forget. "Your only competition is who you were yesterday." At first, I didn't really understand what he meant. I was so used to measuring myself against others, always chasing someone else's pace, that I'd never stopped to think about my own progress. It was a simple idea, but it changed everything for me. Suddenly, the pressure to outdo everyone else faded into the background, and I started to see things differently. I stopped trying to be better than Rohan, or anyone else on the track. I realized that comparing myself to others only made me anxious and distracted me from what really mattered. Instead, I focused on being a better version of myself each day. I started to look inward, asking myself what I could improve, even if it was just a little bit. The pressure to be the best faded, replaced by the challenge to improve myself. It felt lighter, more motivating, and I actually started to enjoy the process. I started setting small, personal goals: run a second faster, study a bit longer, read one more page. These tiny steps added up, and I could see real progress over time. My only opponent was my past self, someone I could actually beat. Every day became a new opportunity to outdo the person I was yesterday, and that made all the difference. This mindset applies to everything: sports, studies, music, even kindness. No matter what you're working on, the real race is always with yourself. If you're a little better than yesterday, you've already won. Progress isn't always about big leaps. Sometimes it's about those small, consistent improvements that add up over time. I began to enjoy the process, not just the outcome. The journey itself became rewarding, and I found myself looking forward to each new day. That's the secret to real growth and to finding joy in the journey. When you focus on your own path, every step forward is a victory worth celebrating. Comparing yourself to others is like running with your shoelaces tied together. It only slows you down. We see others' highlight reels, not their struggles, and end up feeling inadequate. This habit breeds jealousy and wastes energy that could fuel your own growth. Everyone's journey is unique. Comparing your beginning to someone else's middle is unfair. Social media makes this trap even easier to fall into, showing us only the best moments of others' lives. The best way out? Focus on your own path, limit time on things that make you feel less, and remember, your journey is yours alone. Water your own grass, not someone else's. So how do you compete with your past self? The answer isn't about making huge leaps overnight or trying to transform your life in a single day. Instead, it's about embracing the idea of slow, steady progress, choosing to be just a little bit better than you were yesterday. Focus on getting just 1% better each day. That might sound small, but it's a powerful mindset shift. When you commit to tiny improvements, you make growth feel manageable and sustainable. 1% seems tiny, but small, steady gains add up over time. Imagine the impact of compounding progress. Each day's effort building on the last, creating a ripple effect that grows stronger with every step. Want to read more? Start with 1 page a day. It's not about finishing a book in a week, but about building a habit that lasts a lifetime. Want to learn a language? Begin with just 1 new word. Over weeks and months, those words add up, and suddenly you're speaking with confidence. The goal isn't to exhaust yourself, but to build habits that stick. Consistency matters more than intensity, especially when you're starting out. Progress that feels effortless is progress you'll keep making. When improvement feels easy, you're more likely to return to it day after day. Track your wins, no matter how small. A tick on a calendar, a note in a journal. Celebrate every step forward, because each one is proof you're moving in the right direction. Each small improvement builds self-confidence and momentum. The more you notice your progress, the more motivated you'll feel to keep going. Over time, these tiny gains become massive change. What once felt impossible starts to feel natural, and your new habits become part of who you are. That's how you become a better version of yourself, one day at a time. Remember, greatness is built on the foundation of small, consistent actions. Life isn't a sprint against others, it's a marathon at your own pace. Success looks different for everyone, and your definition is the only one that matters. Some days you'll leap forward, others you'll stumble. That's normal. Progress isn't always a straight line. Sometimes being better than yesterday just means trying again. Pick one small thing to improve today. Don't overwhelm yourself, just aim for 1% better. Forget what others are doing. Your only comparison is with who you were yesterday. The goal isn't perfection but progress. Be patient, be proud, and remember, the greatest prize is knowing you're a little better than you were before.